Hello and welcome again to We Are Crafted in His Image. I am late. I am very late in getting out this month's Coco and Crafts class. We just have had some life happening here and that's okay. Anyway, as you notice, something gorgeous just showed up in the mail yesterday. No, not yesterday, day before. Our new catalog. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the inside pages yet, but as you can see, May is when this will be going live. And for all my customers who've already placed an order with me over this last year, you will be getting one of these in the mail to me along with a gift. But if you would like a catalog from me, just pop me a message, let me know, and I will get one in the mail to you. There's some beautiful, beautiful stuff in here. Okay, now on to our project for today. Excuse me. Have you noticed this month, Snailed It is our stamp set of the month, and there's no ink pads here because instead we are using the watercolor pencils. So your kit will come with the Snailed It stamp set, watercolor pencils, and one of the blender pens. They actually come in a pack of 3. You're getting one in your kit. You will need a black ink of some sort to finish the projects in this kit. Preferably one like Memento ink or StazOn, but I've not had any problem with the blender pen bleeding the Memento ink at all, so we should be good. And then you will also notice, of course, you get some chocolate Ghirardelli squares. I may have to take stock in Ghirardelli because, I mean, yeah, it's yummy. So move that over here. And then we have our little packets for each of our projects. Now, the very first one, the one we're going to do today, is actually not in one of our little envelopes because this was too big and everything else fit inside one of these. So this is our first project. It's not marked, but this envelope is going to go back into project number 2, so don't lose the envelope. I'm actually going to set all of these aside because mine is slightly different. Now, one thing that is different in this month's kit, for this project that we're making today, our treat box, we're only going to do one project. I only put in there one project rather than 2 because, as you can see, it holds, let me open it if I can, oh, that's right, I have to move my snail out of the way. And then you open up and it holds 2 of the chocolate squares in there. But really just to keep things simpler and money-wise, this month we were just going to do one of these projects in there. But as you can see, my piece of red looks a little different than yours because I wanted to show you exactly how I ended up with this. So all the measurements will be on the blog post, but I'm going to go ahead and show you, demonstrate for you how to make it on this piece so you know how I did it. So I'm hoping, let me check my camera. Yeah, most of that's in there. You can see it. And I'm going to do my best not to get my head in the way, I promise. But it probably won't work. I'll probably still get my head in the way. What am I doing here? There's my notes. Okay, the base is 7.5 by 10 3/4, and that has already been cut. 7.5, 10 3/4. But now I need to score along this short side at 1 3/4, 2 1/8, 5 3/8, 1, 2, 3, and 5 3/4. And again, I'll have the measurements listed on the blog, so you don't have to remember these. And then I'm going to have to open out the arm, move my thing out of the way here. To do now along the long side, we're going to score at 4 inches. 4 3/8, 1, 2, and 3, 8 3/8, 1, 2, 3, and 8 3/4. So basically it looks like you have a tic-tac-toe board. You probably cannot see this on the screen, but it looks like you have a tic-tac-toe board with really big rectangles on this side, really short ones on this side. Actually, these are similar in size, a little bit shorter. You have medium, large, small. Oh, I still need this out because now what I'm going to do, can you see those score lines? I don't want to score it because it'll make it harder for me to cut it right. But there's a score line here, and then there's an inside score line. There's a score line and an inner one. I'm actually going to cut right along there. So on the inner line going in both directions, the one closest to the center going in both directions, I'm going to cut. And I am simply going to line up that score line right on my groove, take my little cutter, and it does have little marks on the edge. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but there's little marks here to show you where the blade is actually at. And I am going to score, and again, I'm going to try not to get my head in your way. But basically, I'm just going until that line there lines up with my score line that is right there. Okay, can you see it now? Can you see? Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this one. By the way, never ever open this up and slide that down when it's open, because you will end up, not that I know this from experience, slicing your finger doing it that way. So try, always have it closed when you're moving it up and down. Okay, then I'm going to turn. I'm going to do the same thing now, going along this line up to where I've already cut. Here, that one should be easy. As soon as it comes loose, cut this one here. Whoop. This one will be harder for me not to get my head in the way because it's further away from me. And you could cut this with a pair of scissors if you'd rather do that rather than using your cutter. I just know that I get much straighter cuts if I use the cutter. There we go. And then our last one. Whoops, I cut a little too far in on that one there. Well, I think we'll be alright though. We'll be alright. Again, normally I would put my head right over this so I could see that, but I don't want to block your view, so we're just gonna go with it. And then these pieces I actually use to cut out other stuff. I cut out hearts and other things for other projects for you. So there's this part. I'm done with the cutter. Get that out of the way. I'm next going to need this punch here. We used to have a punch very similar that had rounded corners, and if you have that one, that one works for this just the same. And then here it is, in our envelope, we have some, oh, it stuck to it. Let's see. Let me pull my little tray out here so I don't lose. We have a white piece there, we have a piece of adhesive foam, a small piece, and some cutouts. Alright, so there's that. This goes in project number 2. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and adhere mine down. On yours I did not, I simply held it and punched, but it's obviously much easier to adhere down first and then punch so that it doesn't shift in any way, shape, or form. Oh, I didn't need to do the middle, but I do need to, I want to get a little bit on the edges though. Come on. There we go. Alright, so this long panel here, I'm going to center that in the middle of it. And then I'm going to open this up and slide it all the way down till it reaches the bottom of the punch and it can't go any further. And then I'm just going to kind of center it. I'm just checking that it's the same amount on either side. And then I'm going to punch. There it goes. So that one is done. Then what I'm going to do, I need this piece here is going to get adhered over on this side. And again, I've already punched yours. I just did not do any adhering for those of you who have the kit. Okay, so that goes on there. And then, again, make sure you come in from the same side because it may not be perfectly in the middle. So you don't want to flip it around and go in from this side because they may not line up properly. So I went in from this side the first time, so I want to go in from this side here. And for this one, you only want to go about halfway in on your DSP. So I'm gonna, let's see, how can I do this? My hand's not coordinated. Make sure it is lined up. I'm gonna go ahead and do this real quick. Hold it. Okay, so it is all the way down here, can't go any further, and I'm only about halfway in on this. And there we go there. Okay, so this piece is pretty much ready. Now it's time to do some stamping. I actually should have done the stamping first, but we'll go with this. Alright, this gets on the inside, and I don't know if you noticed, I just stamped hello and some of the hearts. You can put whatever you want on the inside of this. If you want to put you snailed it, or whatever other sentiment out of there that you, if this is a birthday card and you want to use a birthday sentiment, I think I'm going to do the same on this one as I did last time, is the hello and the hearts. And again, this is the super sticky. So if you can't get your, oh, I got my fingernail under there. If you can't get your fingernail, make sure you always get it underneath that sticker before you just lift. Otherwise, you're going to end up pulling that foam apart and tearing it. If you need to get yourself one of these really thin spatulas, this is old. It was from Cricut. But that helps to just get underneath there and lift it up. Once you've used the set a few times, you won't need to do that anymore. It's just when you first get it, they're this super sticky. Alright, let's get on the block. And I think hello's going on this block. And I put my memento away. And let me go ahead and stamp. I don't know why I'm centering that. Ooh. There we go. Stamp that one. And then a couple of hearts. Let's see. Put one up in here. And one here. And one here. There we go. And then while I have my ink out, I'm going to do the hardest part of this whole project. So when I decided to use this stamp set, I know several people voted, said they wanted to use this stamp set. What I did not think about was the fact that it is not a photopolymer stamp set, which means lining this stamp up with this die cut, because we're doing this as a kit where I've die cut it before you, that's kind of tricky to do. So I found a way to do it that worked pretty well. Not the best way to do it. Under most circumstances, I really recommend stamp first, then die cut. But this is how we're gonna do it. You need 2 blocks for this, okay? I'm gonna ink up my stamp. Actually, I'll leave it here so I can check, make sure I got everything inked up well. Okay. Then I'm gonna take my die cut upside down and doing my best to line it up before I drop it. I'm gonna drop that right on top of there. And then, oh, and see, I can tell it's already off right here because I didn't drop it properly. I need to check that one next time. Then you're gonna take your block and push down. And then, hopefully, hey, not too bad. Not too bad. That was pretty good. At least it's all on. The first couple ones I tried doing this way, yeah, they were really bad. So there is an option for you. Otherwise, if you bought the die set as a separate add-on to your kit, go ahead and stamp it on another piece of paper and cut it out for yourself. It's much easier than trying to do this. But we're making this work, right? Right. So now what we want to do is do some coloring. We're going to use our watercolor pencils. Now, I will tell you, these are such a great investment. I have had these for such a long time, and my blender pens as well. Years and years, and they last, and you can get so many beautiful shades of color with them. I love it. So I'm just going to show you some techniques. When we do the next couple of kits, I may have them parts already pre-colored, just for time's sake, but I want to show you some techniques on how to use them. Basically, you can use a watercolor brush with these watercolor pencils. That's actually what they're meant to be used for. However, if you're using water, the best thing to use with it is watercolor paper, not our standard basic white paper. You want to use a watercolor paper or our shimmery white paper. Because the water tends to cause this paper to kind of fall apart, really. So that's why we're using the blender pens instead of the aqua painters, okay? And really all you do is you could just leave them like this. You could just color it in like a color pencil and leave it. But you'll see, I'm going to do this one a little differently. I'm going to show, like I colored that super light there, and then I'm going to take maybe this purpley color here, and I'm going to go on top of it on this side, and I'll do it on the other ones as well. This would create a shadow, but you can see that it's very obvious color pencil stroke marks you can see. Well, then you take your aqua pen, or your blender pen, sorry. I do like to have some scrap to make sure it's clean. And you just kind of go over it, and it does exactly what it says. It blends the colors together. It blends out those brush marks or pencil marks, as this case may be, and it blends in the color and makes it smoother. Okay, so there we go. And you can use the same pen for multiple colors. You notice they're dual tipped, and you just go and mark on a scrap piece until it comes out clean, and you can now then use this with blue if you wanted to. I generally have several, and I kind of keep the same color per, but you really don't have to. They clean off pretty well in between colors. So, so there's the inside. I'm going to do a little bit on my snail here, just to give you an idea again. Let's see. This one here, I'm going to go with the pink, the pale pink on her body. And I think part of the reason I really like the watercolor pencils is you can get a nice blend of color without using an excessive amount of water or blender pen on, because you do all of the blending first, and then, or all of the different colors first, and then you blend it all together. Whereas if you were doing this with an aqua pen with like the ink, the reinker or whatever, you would have to put layers and layers of water on your paper, and that's when you really need the watercolor paper instead of our regular paper. So what I'm doing now, I've colored it all in. You see, can you see all those pencil marks there? I did it almost all the same depth of color, the same darkness, but here I'm going to deepen up this back, the underside of my little snail. And I'm actually going to take a little bit of yellow, because I don't want this to be like a super pink snail. I want it more of a, I don't know, coral snail color, I guess. So I'm adding yellow right on top of that pink. I'm not going in the shaded area. In fact, in the shaded area, I think I'm going to add a little bit of maybe some brown in here, again, to deepen up that color. And a little bit of shading under her eyes. Okay, and now I'm going to use my pen, my blender pen, and simply pull all those colors and blend them all together. This is another reason why I decided only to do one of this project rather than two, because it would take a while to do two with all the coloring, especially on the video. So, her packaging, let's see, what color packaging? I'm going to give her some blue packages on this one. A little bit of light blue. And then grab the darker one, put some shades on here, some shadows. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the other side of my blender pen, pull those colors together. Ta-da! And let's see, let's do green and blue for the, maybe yellow and green. I'm looking at the colors in, ooh, we're going to do yellow and green. The colors in the paper. So I'm just scribbling some yellow on here. It doesn't matter if it's got streaky marks. Then I'm going to grab maybe this peachy color. This, what color is this? Calypso Coral. Create some shadows. And then, how about green for the stripes? really your snail could be whatever color you decide you want to make it, right? I got it in purple. Do we have purple? We don't have purple in this set. Well, we have Rich Razzleberry. But you can make purple with the blue and the red. There are 2 sets of watercolor pencils. This kit came with the first set, but then there's also set number 2, I guess they call it. And that includes these colors here. So there is a deep purple in that one. Some deeper colors, it looks like, in set number 2, and more browns. But I only have out set 1, so let's see. Time to blend that together. Make sure especially with yellow. Okay, can you see that little blue showing up? You want to make sure with yellow that there's no extra color coming out before you start blending the yellow, because that color will definitely show. Some fuzz on the end. And I'm going to actually do each little section separate so I don't pull that green into my yellows. And you can add more color to this if you want to, but I think that's good. Hey, she's so cute. All right, let's get these out of the way and let's assemble our project. So first things first, this is on my left, that short one's on my right. Hello. Goes in the middle. Ooh, ooh, center, Tammy. There we go. Okay, fold on your lines, and you may want to burnish them just to make sure they fold nicely. Okay, and then, oh, I just realized what I don't see. I know I punched them out because I remember punching them out. Oh, it fell way over here. There is a little 1-inch circle cut out, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to take the 1-inch circle, and this piece right here is from, let me grab it, our foam adhesive sheets, and you can see it comes with, like, I don't know how many are in there. 2, 4, 6 of these sheets, and I simply took one of them and cut right down, I don't know which side, cut down, and then cut those into little pieces. And the main reason is you want it to fit right inside this to guide your snail. If it's too skinny, your snail's going to wobble up and down. So you want it just the right size to fit right inside that groove right there. And what I'm going to do is peel off the backing, stick it onto my circle. Put my circle right there. And actually, yeah, yep. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Go ahead and stick my, where did my chocolates go? I lost my chocolates. There they are. There they are. Okay, set my chocolates in here. Close this up. Close this up. Come back here. I need that underneath. I'm just wondering if it makes a difference where you set the snail, if he's going to stick out too far one way or the other. So I'm going to put it all the way over onto here, and then put my little snail where I want her to go. And then push her over, yep, and then she gets out of the way. So there you go. There's our project finished. That didn't take too long to do either, did it? Awesome. So that is project number 1 for our April Coco and Crafts. Isn't it so cute? These snails, I just love them. And you will notice that I seem to think that these snails need to move in some way, shape, or form. Unlike all of our projects are somehow like movable. This is, whoops, this is one of our projects. I think this is the last one. So it has like a little gate fold there. And then we have this one here where our snail is gonna like pop up. Can you see that? He's so cute. She. And this is next week's project actually. Look, ready? Are you ready? Hello! So fun. So Anyway, I will see you actually later this week because I'm posting this a week late on Tuesday. This project is going to go out on Thursday of the same week. So I will see you on Thursday. Until then, have a super duper week and God's love and blessings to you. Bye.